this world. Because of these sins, the anger of God is coming!
No temptation has overtaken you except what is common to mankind. And God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. Vengeance is mine! I will repay, says the Lord.
There hath no temptation taken you, but as is common to man. But God is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above all.
Hey everyone, my name is PewDiePie, and welcome to PsychoPsych. So if this is the first video of mine you're watching, let me introduce myself. I'm a university graduate. I graduated with Bachelor of Science, majored in psychology. I'm also a fully licensed researcher in psychological research. I have my certificates and training in human psychology research. Instead of getting a real job, I do unhinged experiments and upload them to YouTube like it's my own publishing company. Click right here to see my last video, where I electrocuted 2 kids' brains. My work isn't peer-reviewed, for obvious reasons. So really quick, I want to say, at the time of recording I have 14 subscribers. And thank you so much, which means we officially surpassed my Xvideos account. Subscribe to that too if you want. I don't really post anything, I just shitpost comments. Anyways, so I know you read the title of the video and you're probably thinking, the hell is wrong with you? Zebrafish? The hell are you talking about? First of all, relax. Second of all, give me a second to explain. See, zebrafish are actually really interesting. One second. Where the hell did you go, you little shit? For fuck's sake. I told you can't be in the video. Okay, fine. Get in the frame. Get in the frame. Alright, let's try this one more time. It'll be awkward if I don't introduce my audience to the weight of my sins.
I just want to play a game with you.
It's been a while, so let me explain. Let me catch you guys up since my last video. The guilt from my sins has been eating at me. One more time for you guys that are lazy. Click here to watch what happened. So of course, using the device that I used for my last video, I just electrocuted the guilt right out of my brain and went on my very way. Brain seizures are good for something. I guess I angered God by trying to outsmart the system. And bro, can you stop? Thank you. Holy shit. Okay, anyways, as I was saying. So, the weight of my sins piled up and it just manifested physically. He kind of, keeps me in check. He's a little excited. Passionate, even. He stops me from sinning, so no more electrocuting kids' brains. I'll talk about something more reasonable. Maybe fish this time. And that brings us here, to zebrafish. Alright, is that a good enough experiment for you? Is that okay? Ow. So, one more time. What the hell do zebrafish have to do with psychology? I was getting to that before I was so rudely interrupted, by the way. I know he could hear me, the bastard. What do zebrafish have to do with psychology? Let me explain. I'm the guy to do that. What exactly is psychology? At its most basic definition, psychology is the scientific study of the human mind and behavior. It's not just talking about your first world problems or pretending whatever problem you have is important. Like, wow, I have depression.
Oh, your dog died. Oh, man.
Shit, I know you heard me. I didn't really mean that. So, okay, let me continue. Alright, I'll put it in a nicer way. When people think of psychology, they usually think of, for example, therapy. What people seem to miss all the time when they talk about psychology is that psychology is a science. It's both healing the sick and making scientific discoveries. In this video, I'm more interested in making discoveries. It's what I do. And psychology does share a lot of overlap with other sciences, mainly in this case, pharmacology. Now, what is pharmacology? In the broadest sense, pharmacology is the study of how chemical agents, both natural and synthetic, for example drugs, affect biological systems. In this specific case, the brain. And now to get into the point of the video. What does this have to do with zebrafish? Now, I'm not going to argue whether it's right or wrong, but I am not going to deny the importance of animal testing. If we want to test something like some kind of medicine or some kind of behavior treatment, it's much better to test it on, say, animals than living human beings, where things could go wrong. Sure, it's not fair to animals, but sometimes it's just what we need to do. It's a very valuable resource within the scientific community. So when people think about what's the best animal to use for drug tests, or what is the best animal to test, or what most closely resembles us that'll give us accurate results if we want to drug test and, say, measure behavior? Well, the answer is simple really, it's chimps.
It's Monkey Monday. It's Monkey Monday.
See, chimps share 98 to 99% of their DNA with us, and they have similar social behavior. But the issue of ethics come up. If I wanted to make an experiment testing, for example, the effects of LSD on behavior, I don't have the heart to do that to a chimp. And I'm sure neither do you. So what's the next best animal? When people think of animals for testing, they usually think of mice, right? Did you guys know that mice scream when we inject them with needles? Yeah, it feels like shit doing it. Look at this abstract. Look at this government-funded study. What the hell am I even looking at? Actual government-funded studies to tickle rats. So they let us inject them with more needles. What the fuck even is this? Zebrafish. Hear me out. Or more specifically in the scientific name, Daniorarios. Danios for short, zebrafish for understanding. Got it? We're actually finding out that zebrafish are really good at having tests done to them. See, what I love about psychology is it's relatively new, and we're still in the Wild West stages of it. Like, you take for example physics, and you need to be at the very top level to find new things. But with psychology, any random retard could figure something out. So back to zebrafish. They're smart. They're actually really smart. Smarter than you think. And more similar to us than you think. Let me explain. Now let me address the elephant in the room. If we wanted to conduct an experiment for pharmacology to simulate a condition on us, would a mammal not be a better model organism to simulate something for a human condition than a fish? In this case example, a mouse or a rat. Would that not be better than a fish? I want you to take a look at this graph I found on google.com. It's a really reliable source. I don't know if too many people heard of this website. Surprisingly enough, zebrafish actually have very similar chemical reactions and brain structure to us as compared to mice. When we talk about using zebrafish for experiments, they actually have a lot of advantages over mice or rats, specifically in the case of behavioral analysis. There's a good few reasons outside of that, like for example their genetic manipulation, the ethics and practical considerations. Mainly what I'm concerned with is behavioral relevance to humans. Zebrafish behavior does have a lot of relevance to human conditions such as anxiety, sleep, social behavior. Zebrafish are actually really good at showing anxiety. Alright, so that's cool and all, but let's talk about the real reasons. So first of all, fish are cheap, a lot cheaper than mice. I don't really care. Second of all, fish can take a beating. One time I seen this retard.
I plead the fifth.
One time I seen this retard drown his fish in Hennessy. Little do you guys know, the fish was actually fine. It definitely got drunk off of that because of the way their gills work, but it's not like suffering. The fish really can take a beating. And third of all, as you all know, scientific researchers are evil. When an animal can't scream when I torture it, I'll burn in hell a lot less than I deserve. Okay, I'm sorry. Zebrafish. Okay. I've talked a lot about them. I hopefully hyped them up enough for you to understand. Let's do an experiment, kind of like how I'm supposed to. That's how a research paper usually goes, but they explain what they're doing in the abstract and introduction, not in the methodology. I'm kind of dumb. Anyways, let's go get some fish. So usually in science, to get actual results, you need 40, not just 4. Why did I only choose 4? Leave me alone, man, I'm broke. So anyways, let me introduce you to my new friends. We have Captain Atohi, Alfie G, Lord of Maine, and Pig's Blood. I named them after my mates in my RuneScape clan, with their permission, of course. I'm pretty sure I asked Pig's Blood over voice chat, if I remember correctly. And if I didn't, I named my fish after you. What are you gonna do about it? Fucking nerd. Alright, it's time for the science babble. I'm sorry I have to do this, but for my Gen Z audience, alright, that's better. So first of all, I'm using a pH buffer of 7. It's meant for beta fish, but that's the best I could get. They're supposed to stay between a pH between 7 and 8. What else? Let's see. I'm feeding them tropical fish. I'm feeding them tropical fish flakes. They're very social creatures, so I'm keeping them all in their own. I'm keeping them all in one tank for now. And hey, are you listening? Are you listening? Zebrafish are very social creatures. They shoal a lot, so it's cruel if I keep them all in their separate tanks. Although that's maybe how the experiment is gonna go. And yeah. I'm so sorry for that. So one more time, I just want to justify why I'm using zebrafish for this experiment. When you test an animal, let's say you tested a mouse. Think about it this way. When you test something on animals, they aren't mindless. Like imagine you in that position. Imagine you were a mouse and giants kept you in a cage. Every once in a while, they would poke you with some mystery liquid. Or imagine you went to sleep and one day there's a very obvious patch of hair missing and you're sore from a needle poke. I would feel like shit. But with zebrafish, this is how you dose them.
This is accomplished by first dosing the zebrafish using a new method that has been developed to allow for the simultaneous drug exposure of whole groups of fish for precise amounts of time.
So now I want to explain something called the Novel Object Exploration Test. This is actually how you get your results. What is supposed to happen is you have your tank, and then 2 identical somethings. This could be anything. I've seen an experiment where they used Lego figures, and it was pretty interesting. So let's say there's 2 identical Lego figures, and the fish will check it out, they'll see what's going on. They're curious creatures. And okay, that's cool. Then what's supposed to happen is you move it to another tank with the same Lego figure on one side, and then a different Lego figure on the other side. And because zebrafish are curious creatures, they're gonna swim right to the new one. They're gonna say, wow, what's this? They wanna check out what's going on. This is a new thing. This is interesting. That's exactly what I'm looking for. How much time did they spend around that? See, that right there is science because I can measure that. And that's exactly what I want. How much time did they spend around the new object? How much time did they spend around the old object? How much time do they spend around the bottom or the top where they're probably scared of something? Maybe that new object, maybe not. That's exactly how I get results with zebrafish of all things. That's how you measure behavior. And that's interesting. So tell me, Indian science man, how exactly does this work?
So this particular picture will be captured by this webcam. That means it will track all the movement of your zebrafish, where you will see zebrafish is revolving or is swimming or is moving either in the bottom zone or either in the top zone or either in the middle zone.
There's motion tracking software where we could see how much time they spend at the top of the water, at the bottom. That's where they go when they're usually scared. So we can measure neophobia, how much time they spent around the new object and the old object. We could see how curious are they? Why are they going to the new one? How much time do they spend in the new one? Now let's say A popular experiment is alcohol, or just more specifically ethanol. See, the reason ethanol is so practical to use is we could tell exactly how much it affects our judgment. So in normal water, they're gonna check out the new object, but in ethanol water, they don't know. Did it cloud their judgment? We can measure how much it clouded their judgment by. That is exactly what I'm looking for right now. So hopefully by this point, I tried everything to prove to you that zebrafish are smart, but something tells me you don't believe me. And you're a little right to think that. I mean, fish are dumb. They'll eat themselves to death. But I mean, besides being able to do this...
So your fish does nothing. Until now.
Besides that and all the ranting I did, there's only one real way to find out how smart they are. How about you, Florida man? What you got for me? Holy shit. Oh my god. Let me see this. Holy shit. And you peaked at 9500 MMR? Yo, Florida man's a degenerate. But he's smart. Shit. Check it out, there's still flour all over this. God fucking... See, usually in a research study, they explain what they're doing in the abstract and intro, but I felt the need to save it for now because it's tough to explain why zebrafish are doable. You know, I needed all that time to kind of explain to you why zebrafish are important. If you're reading a study, they expect you to already know. I know most of my viewers are room temperature IQ, so just like me. So I gotta explain things, you know? And it takes a while, because zebrafish are... People think of fish, they're just, I don't know, they're fish. So here's the deal. I have 4 beautiful new friends over there, swimming happy and healthy. I've been changing the water every 2 days, because I don't really have a filtration system. So it's time to actually do science. It's time to actually do a research experiment, right? And now let me elaborate just a little bit more on the point I made earlier. I gave a weird example in the beginning where I said, hey, what if I want to test the effects of LSD on behavior? Well, the best animal to do that to is a chimp, because it's unethical to do that to humans. But it's also kind of unethical to give chimps LSD. But with zebrafish, bing! Check that out. Someone already did that. Someone already did a lot of things. Check out this experiment by Spinello et al. I'm just gonna read the title out loud for you. Acute ethanol administration affects zebrafish preference for a biologically inspired robot. And by the way, here's a full research article just because information should be free. You need to pay for this if you want to read it, or just come to my video and look at it. I really don't give a fuck. So basically, in a nutshell, zebrafish are attracted to robots who look like fertile females, and alcohol affects them in a way that makes them less attracted to them. So if you think of an idea, something way too unethical to test on another animal, it's probably been done on a zebrafish. So by now you're probably wondering, what the hell am I doing? I didn't explain it in the abstract and introduction, and I promise there's actually a really good reason for that. Now, for my 4 beautiful new friends, I could just give them ethanol and see how it affects a novel object exploration test. That research experiment has been done over and over to death. Just slight iterations. Maybe it's traveling through a maze, or maybe it's whatever. I could just dunk my fish in water and call it a day. Show you guys the results because I know there will be results, but no. No. That's not how I do things. I do original experiments. Believe it or not, I'm a researcher, if you forgot. I actually have a license and certification. what experiment are we doing today? See, here, let me get in close for this. So, what if I told you there was an experiment where higher ups want to keep this a secret? No, I'm not joking. Yes, this has to do with zebrafish. There's a reason I waited 20 minutes to tell you guys what's happening. So, let me tell you a little story just to preface this little idea I have in mind. For context, I got inspiration for this video from a class I took in university. My professor is an actual zebrafish researcher. I mean, I am too, but you know, he gets paid to do it, so. Anyways, he did talk a lot about his research in his class, and I did take some interest. So one day after class, I went to his office just to talk about it. Like I said, I was interested. And he told me something that made my criminal goblin brain cry tears of joy. I'm gonna tell you what it is right now. Keep it between us. This wasn't meant to be public knowledge. So I asked my professor about his research and what he did, and I guess he felt comfortable enough to tell me about this, but I'm gonna keep the names of everybody and every company anonymous, only to protect my professor, because fuck the oil company. So remember, I can only tell you what I remember from our hypothetical talk. So this big oil company approached this independent sweetheart of a man who takes great pride in honest work. Well, what did they want him to test on his fish? Oil sands. So he set up the experiment, he tested a few fish, and in his words, allegedly, nothing is confirmed. To say they came out messed up is an understatement. Wait a minute. So you're telling me these fish couldn't handle oil sands? Like, we deal with it a lot. Petroleum is in our daily lives. We even consume a lot of it, like ingest it. Unknowingly. Isn't it kind of weird that my former professor, who is a professional researcher, all he wanted to say about them was they came out really messed up? He didn't really want to tell me anything more. So this feels a little weird now. I asked my professor, these fish, the same fish who you or someone else who've tested alcohol, methamphetamine, nicotine, LSD, heroin, every fucking illicit substance under the sun, these same fish couldn't handle oil sands? So anyways, my professor allegedly told me that he did his experiment, he tested his fish, and he got his results, and he presented it to the oil company. They told him to exaggerate the results so it doesn't look as bad. When he refused, and rightfully so, they gave him a vaguely threatening message saying, "We would prefer if you did not publish these results." Alright. I don't really blame him for not doing the right thing. It would be doing the right thing if he published it anyway, but the guy has a wife, the guy has kids. I can't imagine an oil company, a natural gas company, would let him live. Hey, for legal reasons, this is a joke, by the way. This is a joke, but they probably would have killed him. It's a joke, by the way. I'm joking. In Minecraft. So you see, I've been thinking about it. Do you know what I mean by my original experiment? My professor doesn't want to publish his results for obvious reasons, but if some asshole on YouTube gets the exact same results and does the exact same experiment, yeah. See, I thought about this a lot, and the difference between my former professor and I is that I have nothing to lose. So that's the way I do things on my channel, okay? I'm not dunking my fish in no ethanol and calling it, wow, cool experiment. No, we're getting on a watch list now.
Van ritmo, van ritmo, van ritmo, van ritmo, van ritmo, van ritmo, van ritmo.
Wait, hang on. Let me explain what I'm doing here. So this is called polysorbate 80, otherwise known as tween 80. You might have noticed I was using the words oil sands and petroleum interchangeably. That's because oil sands is petroleum. It's just a really dense gravel type of substance. It's a mixture of water, sand, clay. It's soaked with something called bitumen for an extremely dense source of petroleum. Now, as most of you know, petrol, or gasoline, is an oil. It doesn't mix with water. So what do I do here? That's exactly where the Tween 80 comes in. And what Tween 80 is an emulsifier. That means it allows the oil to mix with water. When you think of emulsifiers, think of dish soap, for example. But I wanted specifically this one because it's non-toxic. It won't mess with the results. And just for confidence in my own experiment, you're goddamn right I tasted it. It didn't taste bad, it tasted like thick water, if that makes sense. Alright, now that that's explained, no more words are needed. Back to the video. Oh, sorry, one more thing. I already used that song.
We interrupt this program to bring you... Yo!
The especially astute among my viewers will remember in the very beginning of the video, I said I have my certificate in human research. And in my last video I ate French toast off it, just to prove the point that I don't really give a fuck. So, what business do I have testing animals? First of all, if you doubted me even for a second, you are a maggot. You are a little maggot with a baby brain. But I mean, it shows that I know what I'm doing, right? So, by the way, on my very first video that I made, it's terrible by the way, don't watch it. On the very first video I made, I got the comments taken down by YouTube. I did not do that myself. But I mean, that makes me ask, am I on a watch list? Did I earn my own FBI agent yet? For a video with less than 100 views to get censored. That feels so weird. I mean, I'm so grateful for my subscribers, but like, if I have haters, how long do I last? Anyways, I'm not gonna beat around the bush any longer. You came here to see me feed fish gasoline. Let's get to it. Some completely fair and valid criticism I got in my last video. In real life, not in the comments, because no one watches my videos. But some fair criticism I got is that I wasn't being scientific enough. I didn't base my results the way you're supposed to in statistics. So this time, I wanted to do it exactly by the books. I got some motion tracking software, learned how to use it, and put AlphaG's results in. While I was doing that, I started the next experiment. But I want to ask, is there really a point? This time, is there really a point to doing that when The next ones went like this. I wanted to see some interesting results right away, so I put pig's blood in first, my 1% dose, the highest dose. Oh no, you're already dead? This is the 1%. Now look, I hope it doesn't sound like me just copping out, but I don't want to just show footage of these fish struggling for their lives. I'm just going to give you the gist of it from here on out. A major thing that went wrong during the experiment is I did this all in my bedroom. I left the room right after I put pig's blood in. When I came back into the room about 10 minutes later, the entire room smelled like petrol. It was so unbearable that I had to cover it with saran wrap, and that already messed with my footage, so I couldn't use that for analysis. At that point, I wanted it to be over so badly that I just filled up another tank with 0.5% petroleum concentration, and I threw in both Florida Main and Captain Atohi all at once. Oh my fucking god, why are you swimming upside down? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This was... Oh my god. I know it sounds like I'm overreacting in this footage, but I want you to remember that these aren't just test subjects to me. These are literally my pets. I gave them all names. I felt unbelievably shitty doing this to them, and saying that it was in the name of science didn't really help. So after my little experiment, I sent them off into a freshwater tank so they could bathe off and reintegrate. Hey, Peaceos, Psycho here. Let's talk about the experiment, shall we? Alfie G was completely unharmed, which was exactly as expected. The only exposure he had was to tween 80, and he was completely fine. Job well done. Florida Main and Captain Atohi, on the other hand, I exposed them to 0.5%. They both acted in their own ways. Florida Main was getting very unresponsive, like this. Captain Atohi, on the other hand, I didn't always keep the lid on. Captain Atohi kept on jumping out. The both of them were only exposed for 5 minutes. When I found pig's blood after 15 minutes of 1% exposure, he was dead. No question about it, he was dead. So, I mean, I guess this makes me the proud owner of 2 mentally handicapped fish, 1 okay fish, probably depressed because of what happened to his friends, and another fish I have to bury. Job well done, I guess? What is that noise? Oh, what, man? What the fuck? No, I'm not doing that shit. You think I care about that? I ate French toast off my fucking human research thing. You think I care about the animal one? I'm not doing that shit to my friends. No, come on, I could save them. They don't have to die. Yeah, okay, I know, but...
O locus ille, betus quondum nunc diminuit, nos destinatem matribus nunc fiuntur ploravimus lacrimavimusque, sed nemunus consolatur aureum cui irasce baris.
What is the golden question that people ask when they read an academic journal? Why? Why did I give zebrafish oil sands? Well, why does anyone do anything? Sometimes it's obvious. Why would you not want to combat cancer? Why would you not want to investigate the power of music in healing mental disorders? Other times, it's not that obvious. Why the hell are you paying people to tickle rats? Why are you feeding zebrafish LSD? Why is NASA in the 60s giving dolphins handjobs? Yeah, that actually happened. Well, the answer's simple. Maybe it's much more anticlimactic than you think, but the answer to every single question I just threw up on screen is for the exact same reason. Money. Someone wants the answer to a question and will pay to have an answer. A researcher would spend their time doing literally anything else than jerking off a dolphin. But I mean, shit, if Kevin Gates gave me $100,000 to do that, I'd jerk off any animal. No questions asked. Call me Kevin Gates, punching that dick in that pussy. But I still didn't answer the question. Why did I give zebrafish oil sands? I'm not getting paid. I don't make money from anything I do here. In fact, I lost money. I went out, bought zebrafish, bought 4 fish tanks, food, camera, and a bunch of other stuff. I'm publishing this as a shitpost to YouTube, a place where no one watches my videos. I have 14 subscribers. I spent around $90 making this video, from beginning of writing to script till right now. So one more time, why did I give zebrafish oil sands? Was it trying to make some kind of statement about capitalism and greed? Was it me trying to make it big on YouTube by trying to do something outrageous for views in a tasteful way? Or maybe it's just I wanted to do a little trolling. It's possible I just wanted to make a shitpost. Just a fun little video for my friends to watch. The real reason I made this video is... fuck natural gas companies. Now, I'm not just gonna feed zebrafish oil sands or petrol without saying something, so I do want to interpret this in a meaningful way. But there are 2 more loose ends to tie up. So do we consume petroleum? Yeah, of course we do. Non-degenerate humans don't drink it straight up, but we do consume it. Like for example, you know the capsules on your pills? The ones that dissolve in your stomach? Those are made of petroleum. Also, that ingredient in toothpaste and shampoo, it's SLS, sodium lauryl sulfate, something like that. That's also petroleum. You do eat a little bit of it. So pills and toothpaste, it's not a whole lot of petroleum. You know what else is made of petroleum? Pesticides. Pesticides. I'm gonna say that one more time just in case you weren't listening. Pesticides. Now surely, it wouldn't affect you the same way it affects zebrafish, right? Right? I want to ask you, does it make sense why the oil company would want to censor my professor? The last loose end I want to tie up is that those doses that I picked, 0.25%, 0.5%, and 1%, all 3 of those doses are meant to represent a type of population. The 1% dose is meant to represent populations that live near oil exposure sites. So for example, if there's groundwater contamination or an oil spill nearby, pig's blood is your end result. The 0.5% is meant to represent occupational exposure. So I'm talking about farmers and oil field workers. They're getting it pretty badly. 0.25%, I'm sad that I didn't get to do this, but it was supposed to represent just inner city livers, just regular people with dietary exposure. So for example, you, me, your pregnant sister, your grandfather. Now, I know I'm getting repetitive, but I really want to get the point across. There's one reason above all else that I gave zebrafish oil sands. For every video I do, for everything I do it with a lot of love. But I gave zebrafish oil sands because I'm a fucking hater. Hey, you see these oil companies, these natural gas companies that poison us, make us depend on them, and then spit in our faces? And the same ones that threaten a professor that's just investigating their product? The same ones that kill the planet and the wildlife and make us think it's our fault? Wouldn't it be hilarious if they had any secret at all, and I just exposed them because fuck you? Wouldn't that be hilarious? I don't know about you, but I'm not gonna shut up and eat my goy slop. So when I, piece of shit that I am, know one of their secrets, even if it's something as small as the effects of oil sands on zebrafish, do you think I'm keeping that secret to myself? No, they get to hide nothing. I'm still gonna expose them. Don't ever take this lying down. They are the enemy. And that is what I have to say about zebrafish and you. Okay. Too much hatred is bad for you. So, that is the end of the video. Thank you very much for watching. I want you to be a happy free thinker and make your own conclusions, but my study suggests that oil sands / petroleum exposure will give you brain damage. I based my claims off of the model organisms, zebrafish, that I used for this study. I wanted it really badly to reflect human consumption / exposure. A limitation of this is that it was all done in my bedroom, it was extremely bare bones, and if I'm being honest, kind of dumb. I'm not going to elaborate further. So, one more thing before we end off. I just exposed the secret of a natural gas company. So, if I made myself a target, or if I got myself on some kind of list, I have one request. Bury me next to my friends.
Confess I loved you, just thinking of you. You know I've loved you from the start.